We're live. It happened. It happened so fast. Heads are still spinning over at the KSR compound where, as we were getting our ducks in a row, the Cats went out and got a duck from Eugene, Oregon. Will Stein will be the Cats' next head coach. I'm Nick Roush. That's Tyler Thompson, Adam Luckett, and the guy who threw it on KS board this morning. It was like noon, and Peak's like, hey, Will Stein, it's happening. The city has been abuzz ever since. Mr. Peak, how does it feel to be Scoop Peak?
I didn't want to go 0 for 1. So, that would have been kind of embarrassing. I probably would never have done it again. I wouldn't have trusted anybody, but had a pretty good source. Didn't read the last message that he sent was like, hey, don't say anything yet. So,
Whoops.
like I saw that after I'd posted it and it was doing the radio thing. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that yet, but it all worked out, all good. Got my my Louisville Lumber jersey on. It's me and Will played on the same team, so same AAU team. Yeah, Will's a ball player, man, not just football. He's good on the diamond also. Yeah, pitcher, shortstop, outfield, good hitter. So there you go. I have a theory about baseball players and quarterbacks and being successful, and so Will checks those boxes.
Does that sound familiar to anyone you know, Mr. Luckett, who's good at baseball and throwing footballs?
Yeah, there's a guy up at a bit. What do they call it? The Molar Man. What they
Big
call
Mo.
it? But they call him like the Molar, the man of Molar or something.
There you go. Yeah,
they've got some Michigan thing up there with Molar, but yeah, that could help. And Will Stein does have the relationship with Matt Ponatoski. I mean, that came down to Kentucky, Oregon. We're going to get into all that. Like,
yeah,
players are going to attract, how they're going to recruit. I think that's a big question for Stein. Just how do they recruit? How big is the portal? And all of that. That's something we're going to learn here in the, I think, coming days and weeks. But again, it seemed like that was a top target.
Yeah,
for Mitch. Got his top target. And it's a guy who's arguably been the best offensive coordinator in college football the last 4 years. I mean, he's, to me, Nick, if you just pull the data, he's up there with Lincoln Riley. You name, whatever offensive coordinator you want to name. His offenses are up there.
Yeah, shout out to Shaka. We hadn't seen Shaka in a while, so good to see him in the YouTube chat. We'll get into all the devil of the details, but first, I did want to just talk about how we got here. Obviously he's got the Louisville Lumber shirt on with Will Stein, Louisville native who's grew up cheering for the Cats. We caught wind in like October that Stein had kicked the tires and Kentucky had been in talk. So it shouldn't be too surprising that it happened quickly. However, it did shock me that it happened that fast because Peak, the city of Louisville, like it wasn't just you, it was everybody and anybody with any connection to Trinity was saying that it was going to happen all afternoon. And I was like, are we really doing this? Like, is this really happening? And sure enough, after the city of Louisville found out about it, eventually it got to Ross Dellinger, Pete Thamel, Chris Lowe, Pete Nakos, and that whole crew. So shout out to the city of Louisville. The sources, you got it home. And you're muted, Peak. You didn't. Yeah,
there you go. I was getting frustrated because that lower third would not change, and I realized what we were doing wrong. So there we go. We got the lower third correct. I was sorry. What were you saying? You were saying, Louisville. Yes. So like, you all know how the city of Louisville is, and the whole Catholic school connection, and everybody knows somebody. So, and Nick, you said it too during the KSR football podcast today. There were going to be a ton of rumors coming out of the city of Louisville. We can't keep a secret. Like somebody was going to leak it out. I didn't know it was going to be somebody close to me, but we all knew that was going to happen, and that's just how Louisville is. It's like the biggest Mayberry, and I think like national media wouldn't even know how to like
handle.
No way to like get involved in that. So yeah, it was very interesting, and there were so many people from like I haven't talked to since high school that were like reaching out to me and asking about it. So like. The Louisville tie is interesting.
How much anxiety did you have over the last few hours? The thought that
terrible.
Maybe I'll let the cat out of the bag too early, and this will ruin Will's chances to return to his old Kentucky home.
Yeah, you and I had a conversation about something maybe similar that may have had happened. I was asking you for advice, and I was like, how do I handle this differently next time? Because I like the way you worded it, and to kind of like, all right, I know something, but I'm not gonna say anything that's too definitive. And saying that he had accepted it does sound a little bit more definitive than just like where there's smoke, there might be fire. So so it's a learning lesson, and I was a little bit panicky as we started tracking flights to Columbus, and I was like, I can handle being wrong, but if for some reason that this messed up negotiations in some way, I would have felt terrible. I think Heartline would have worked out too, but I was really not even just because I've known Will, but just because, hey, that's as a Kentucky fan, that's what I've been wanting. Let's get the number one offensive coordinator and let's ball. Like, let's go. Like, I mean, I'm not expecting to go to the playoffs next year, but I have a feeling like it's at least going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. And I'm not saying that losing by scoring a bunch of points feels any different really than losing while being shut out. But at least like that's the part that everybody. Yeah, you celebrate. The fireworks go off, all that fun stuff. So like, I think we're going to see a lot of that in the next few years, and I'm so excited. This feels like such a win for Kentucky football after what has been the last 2 weeks of just feeling terrible.
I just imagine Tyler Peak like sitting at his desk like it was the Oklahoma game in the SEC tournament where his head's down and he's just.
Yeah. I'm sure he was going through it, and we were texting back and forth, and it's just crazy to me how fast everything has happened. You talked about it a little bit, Nick, but 48 hours ago, we were still like really pissed off about losing to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
Not even 24 hours ago, we got the Stoops news. It's just something is different in the athletic department if they're moving with this speed. And I think that is kind of what today has shown, is that there are some other voices in the room. Sure, there is urgency with National Signing Day on Wednesday. And I know they had kind of vetted Will Stein before, any of this happened back in the middle of the season when there were, rumors and rumblings that Stoops would go. So at least they got a bit of a head start. But the speed with which this went it's incredible. And I've been so busy with the coaching search stuff. I'm behind on my Will Stein research. So I've spent the past hour or two just reading as much as I can about this guy. And it's so fun. Luckett, you wrote the post. He's one of us. Yes, he went to Louisville, but that's only because he couldn't get a preferred walk-on spot at UK, according to Joker Phillips. And it's just crazy. He grew up going to games with season tickets in section 128.
Yeah, he knew the seat. That's a real season ticket. Season ticket holders know their seat. Like
a pride thing too.
226, row 25, 24, and 25. Like that's like a very. I also love
my grandpa's 126, 31, seats 7 through 10.
Yeah,
I'll never forget it for my whole life.
Yeah.
I just think it's so cool. One of us.
In the article that they shared from the Herald Leader from 15 years ago or whatever, Joker's like, "Oh no, I offered him one," and the dad's like,
"Now you say that."
I don't know about that.
I mean, why else would a Kentucky fan go to Louisville? If he had a chance to go to Kentucky, he would go to Kentucky over Louisville.
And the other part too is when you're in. I mean, he was the Trinity quarterback. That was back when they had Petrinos going there, and I think Brahms were on staff. Of course, it makes sense. Which that is something that's got to be a tough pill to swallow. At 2 Trinity guys coaching in the Governor's Cup,
right there, Will, baby. I know you're watching, Will. Right there. This is going to be covering you. That right there. It's going to be.
I don't think he lost to them very much, so I think he's going to be right.
That's going to be looking at you every week, right there. No.
I mean, is this just every press conference going to be Louisville high school football talk? Because I feel like this is what I'm heading towards.
I'm going to have to wear my something next year.
I love it. It's great.
So, yeah, I mean, that is, I think I've had some people text me, this is going to be hard. This is not going to be the easiest thing in the world.
But yes. the other part of him, too, being a U of L guy is, if he's awesome with UK, that makes it even better. And I go back to Howard Schnellenberger. I mean, I think my generation thinks of him as a Louisville guy. That dude was Bear Bryant's Flash A high school guy, right? He was awesome for the Cats. He was an All-American there before he saved Louisville's program from extinction. Kentucky's program's not on the verge of extinction, but it would be a nice little cherry on top if one of their guys ends up taking Kentucky to the promised land. Which the other part of this that I wanted to say,
cousin Jeff goes to Penn State tonight. Quite the night on the internet.
So quickly, I thought is Sataki going or not?
On three is Pete and CeeLo said they pretty much that they're at the goal line with Sataki, but people are flipping out on the betting markets. So we'll see. I mean, I think Sataki, it's kind of the timing is a little weird with them being in the playoff mix and all of that. So, he's a weird high. Well, we don't have to get into that, but that's kind of a weird fit to me. Guy that's been in Utah and Oregon, go coach Penn State, but we'll see.
I just love the Mormon Moana nickname. Great nickname.
It's a good question here. He gave us $20. So
so we'll answer the question: how much NIL and rev share money will Stein have to work with? Any leads on his staff picks? Well, Kentucky gives out, it'll be like 21 million or so in rev share money. So you got that. We heard who there's a very powerful donor that is a connective tissue between Cutter Boley, Rich Brooks, and now apparently Will Stein. I would imagine he will be contributing some NIL funds to make sure the coffers are loaded. So I don't think dollars and cents will be a significant issue. As far as staff goes, I love the rumor that Charlie Strong would be the defensive coordinator. Charlie Strong has not been a defensive coordinator since Urban Meyer was at Florida. So I will just say that is not happening. Now, if he wants to be an analyst and like be an old guy for him, that I think Luckett is a huge thing, is that like it's great to have the young and up and coming guy, but you do have to have some old heads in the room with you.
Yeah, that would be crazy, right? Be nutty. We'll see. I think there's some overlap. Trinity's offensive coordinator, who Pete knows, Andrew Coverdale, is kind of like thought of as like this brainiac coach. He's a QC at Louisville right now, Nick.
Okay.
Him and Stein are real close. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
As far as I know, he was a QC. I think he's still there. That could be.
It could be a guy to watch.
Yeah. Well, if he came over in kind of, a QC type role, Justin Burke, who's Lex Cath kid, played at NC State. He's UTSA's offensive coordinator. When Stein left UTSA after the 22 season,
he replaced him.
Burke replaced him. So, and they played together at Louisville. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's maybe on staff in some capacity. But that is a big question overall, I think, with Stein, is just what kind of staff does he put together? Because when you look at his coaching, it was pretty much Strong at Louisville and Texas, high school in Texas, UTSA, Oregon. Yeah. He's not pulling guys from that Oregon staff unless they're in QC roles to this job. Right. So it's going to be those connections and then kind of the connections outside of that, of his kind of working environment, see what he does there, where that's I think a big question, but that's a question I think if you hire any play calling coordinator, first time head coach, you just don't know what you're going to get there, but that's something they're going to we'll find out more as we kind of get into it. That's a big question. I think that and just recruiting and how they handle that, and if they're going to have a GM, right, is something we're going to get to. But Stein, he has these connections to the state, but he was hired because his offense is kick ass. Like, they put up big numbers.
I would imagine Kentucky, they got some guys from Texas this year. I would imagine that would be a staple of his recruiting operation after spending
Ben Duncombe went to the high school
there.
Went to Lake Travis.
Yeah.
That Stein worked at.
There we go. Bada boom, bada bam. Tyler, Kentucky got its top option? Is that fair to say?
I think so. I mean, Hartline was kind of option 1B maybe, but I don't know how in-depth they went with him with preparations whenever the 4-game losing streak happened. It just seems too good to be true, which is, it's crazy because if Kentucky had beaten Louisville, Mark Stoops would probably still be the coach here. We would not be having this rapid reaction. And so when that happened, it felt like, oh gosh, worst case scenario is going to happen. We're going to be stuck with Stoops, whatever. But all of a sudden, since then, everything's fallen into line. Stoops agreed to take a structured buyout in terms of like when they're going to pay it out. He didn't want to have it all in 60 days. He agreed to take it over a number of years, which is huge on his part, or as Nick said, a nice parting gift to the Kentucky fan base and administration. And then you get your top option, the kid from Kentucky who grew up, with season tickets at Kroger or at Commonwealth Stadium back then. I mean, it's pretty incredible how this has all turned out. And I have to give credit for all the people behind the scenes. It feels like Jacob Tammy has been a big part of this. He, put out a tweet this morning, like everybody else, about Stoops leaving. It was a nice tribute, but at the end, he had this whole part about explaining why it needed to happen and how they were going to move quickly. And if you aren't aware, he's a member of the Champions Blue Board. So it feels like has played a very active role in this. And thank goodness for that, because it feels like there's legitimate hope and momentum for the future.
Peak, how you handling everything over there? People were saying that you were locked in, the most locked in.
I'm locked in. I'm excited for Kentucky football, man. This is
exciting. We're watching like Travis tape. I know what he's doing.
Here's my question.
2018 pulled up right there on Hub.
So I've got the football guys here.
Yeah.
I've been doing my research on Will Stein. Feed the studs. It feels like a very weird thing for a woman to say out loud. But it's his motto, and I'm going to get on board with it. But I'm like saying to myself, I'm like, feed the studs. I have to explain this when I'm outside of my KSR UK friend group, when I just say that to my friends and they're like, Tyler, what the heck are you saying? So Adam, what does it mean to feed the studs?
It means get the ball to your best players.
Yeah.
All right.
And over.
What a concept.
And over again.
The thing I like about when the whole breakdown is a lot of what he says is stuff that you would hear Kentucky's smart offensive coordinators say, like Neil Brown and Liam Cohen. Hey, we don't do a whole lot differently. We just change how it looks. I mean, Mike Leach would do the same thing too. That's how, like, the air raid, they would run 10 plays. It just was dressed up differently. So that's a part of it. And then I think the other part, like, it is just getting really good players.
Yeah, that helps. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quarterback specifically.
So will there be a GM?
Oh, we don't know. Fingers crossed.
That's something like there's stuff we're going to find out. Some stuff this week and some stuff over the next, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's one of those that we're going to find out.
Yeah.
And like how he manages the playoff. You know what's interesting? If Duke wins Saturday night, that projected game is Tulane at Oregon.
Oh, gosh.
John Summerall against Will Stein.
And they have, I believe Stein wasn't there, Nick, when they played in that bowl game in 22. I think Stein had left already.
It was UTSA.
Remember Troy beat UTSA and upset them and made it a slobber knocker?
It was a rainy game at the Cure Bowl, right?
I think so. And the one like 16-14 or something like that.
Oh, I remember Cure Bowls from 2022. You bet your sweet ass. That Pete Thamel did report that. So Kivin's whole sticking point is he wanted to stay there, and Ole Miss was like, "No, you're going to a school we hate. No, we're not doing this in the conference." Whereas Tulane is like, "Yeah, sure, you can, please coach us." Florida's like, "Yeah, sure, you can keep doing it." They're being copacetic about it with Summerall. So Summerall's going to stay with Tulane through the college football playoff if they win the American title at home on Friday. And then Pete Thamel reported that Stein will stay with Oregon through the college football playoff. And that gets back to that hurdle we mentioned previously. Like, if all they got to do is beat a G5 team and then win one more game, well, then Will Stein is coaching on New Year's Day and then coming to Lexington the next day to host transfer portal visits.
During prep.
Yeah.
Game prep. Like, that's the thing about, I'd be interested to see how they manage the press conference this week, because Oregon's off this week, but they're having practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how do they manage all of that and do the press conference and then moving forward, kind of what is the plan there? Yeah, it's just a variable that they're going to have to kind of walk. And I think a lot of people are going to ask us, like, who's done this before? How are they doing it? Well, this is a unique situation because this is the second year of the 12-team playoff. And this is the first year the portal has been moved to January like this. So we really don't have any, like, there's no data I can point to. Oh, this is what A, B, and C did. It's really kind of new. And so how they handle that is going to be really important. I think for Stein, getting some staff members locked in early that can be here and work with whoever they're keeping on from the recruiting personnel, all of that is going to be, I think, essential for them really early. I mean, he's going to have to do all that while he's preparing for a playoff game. It's a needle that they have to thread. I mean, it's not going to be easy. So it'll be when he talks and when Mitch talks, just what's the plan there and how are you going to do that? Because signing day on Wednesday is kind of, it's just, you just throw it away, really.
Yeah.
You're not closing on anyone. It kind of, the class is what it is at this point. What's really important is getting your ducks in a row and starting the pre-portal work before the portal opens, because you've got to be there. I mean, there's tampering. So you got to know where you are with targets and what targets you want to prioritize and all of that. So that's going to be interesting how they handle that.
There's some people who are in the administrative roles that, just logistically speaking, it's going to be a lot trying to figure out how to schedule everything, how to give it everything in a row. So an important, busy first month for Will Stein and co, which shout out, raise your Steins. I also saw that his mom owns a cake shop. We got to eat some of this
Sissy
cake.
Sissy cakes. I looked it up. And the most, Stephen, you probably know this, her most famous cake is an orange juice cake. I
did
saw
not know
this.
that.
It's like bundt cakes, but orange juice is the main ingredient. Apparently it's really good. So I expect a ton of Kentucky fans to go to Sissy Cakes tomorrow. Maybe we can send Adam and Nick there to try it out with Stephen.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be a fun video, I think.
There you go.
Connecting some
As long as
dots.
it's not a Mexican restaurant, we're in the clear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Took me a second.
Yeah, Scott Drew.
Yep.
Connecting some dots, though. Mom makes orange juice cake. Dad won at Tennessee for
right.
Kentucky. Kentucky's never losing to Tennessee again.
There we go.
We
Write
did
it
it,
down.
folks. We got the ball killer. It's happening.
Oh, what a fun story, though. I'm excited. I'm excited to see when he potentially gets here. I know there have been some rumblings that tomorrow could be the day, and how UK chooses to announce this or his first appearance. Like you all said, there are a lot of factors at play, but it's just fun to be excited about the future. And Stoops was great. 13 years was great. He built the foundation, but I'm psyched, man, which is crazy because 48 hours ago I was depressed.
I know.
So this is way better.
I will say that.
I think Tyler brings up a good point.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's fan base at large.
Mm-hmm.
Just a new breath of fresh. I don't know if breath of fresh air, but just like hitting the reset button. Where I think about the offseason we just came off of.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Where it was just, I mean, it felt like
Mm-hmm.
it was just overcast the entire offseason. Like no sunlight. Like this is just, it was, I won't say depressing, but it was just anytime, they would do something that I thought was good, doesn't get any credit.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a lot of times where they were quiet when I thought they shouldn't be, where I think it's going to be different now, where you get people are going to be excited to cover recruiting or follow recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that comes with that, I think is going to be good for the program. And there's going to be able to build some buzz and some hype going into a new era.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to be excited about that. I think if presented the correct way, some of the Kentucky fan stuff from when he was younger, I think a lot of people are going to eat that up. And so I think it generates positivity for the program, for a program that has had pretty much no positivity really since they beat, Louisville in 2023.
My
Outside of a couple
hunch
moments
is that it starts with Stein showing up to the game tomorrow evening. Probably an announcement, like an official announcement, like a couple hours before, afternoon, somewhere around then. But he shows up to the game, and then we do the big introductory press conference.
He does the why?
Signing the class. Yeah. Because, I mean, think about, the imagery we had with Mark Pope in a full rep arena. Well,
Yeah.
Here's a
He
Florida
does-
arena for Will Stein.
He does the Signetti. He comes out there and says, Louisville sucks. Tennessee sucks. Summer, I'm coming for your ass. And that's how we do it.
What if he was like wearing his old Louisville jersey and just tore it off, and there was a UK shirt or a UK jersey underneath it? That'd be
What's
awesome.
there's that old picture of him in a Kentucky jersey that has a SEC logo on
I
it.
think it's a Photoshop, isn't it?
Well,
I
I
mean-
would think that it would be like a Kentucky Tennessee All-Star game, but I just wouldn't understand why I would have an SEC patch on it.
I think it was a Photoshop because I got fooled by that. But then I saw what looked to be the real picture of him in a Louisville jersey. It's when he's like pointing up into the stands or whatever.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
smiling.
okay. So just
Yeah,
bad Photoshop, bad AI.
I got fooled by that
Okay.
because I was like, even
Well-
that Kentucky jersey looks weird. Yeah. It
Oh,
didn't look
I'm
real.
sorry. I made that.
Of course he did.
Yeah, I made that like 2 months ago. I was at where were we at? We're at a restaurant in
Your colors
Louisville,
are
and,
off there, Mr. P.
we were waiting on somebody, and I just was like, let me make this.
It looked like some
I
like
asked ChatGPT
knockoff
just to make it
NFL
Kentucky.
NFL like alternate jersey.
Well, you should take a compliment. It looked real enough that
give all the
fooled
credit
Nick
to-
Roush.
ChatGPT
So-
gets all the credit. The helmet was still the Louisville Cardinal helmet, 'cause I didn't ask Chat to change the helmet too, so I just said the
That
jersey.
is too funny.
Yeah, I posted
Hey,
it on
Chat.
PS Board.
You got me so bad, Pete. Oh, and this is the part where I enter the like slap happy. I've been staring at a computer for 3 days straight. Hey, do you got the pictures? You got the non-Photoshop pictures of him with Rich Brooks, though, right?
I do. I have at least. I got.
If
one,
that one's
at least.
Photoshop, that's really going to break my heart.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
find-
we
I'll
need,
find
we
another
need
one.
big Willie Stein with old Rich Brooks. Look at that, Just
Oh,
killer.
I do love that.
Did Rich Brooks have anything to do with this? You think?
Yeah,
That's another thing I was gonna get to. But yeah, I think that didn't hurt for sure. Especially if Tammy was involved, right?
yeah. And I mean, I don't know how much of it is Rich Brooks standing on the table, but I'm sure putting in a good word goes a long way. Kind of
Like
wild.
when
that
when they had those releases where they coach gives a quote or whatever.
yeah, we'll
you'll
get a
have
big one.
something. We'll have something from Brooks there. That would be my bet.
Have we had a Rich Brooks tweet tonight? Let's see.
Oh yeah, we need. I hope it's something that is just nonsense plus Will Stein. You know, you get Rich Brooks and Vince Marrow. They don't tweet so differently from one another. They're more tomatoes with one, more fishing, but sometimes they can be a little unhinged.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Oregon would be a coaching pipeline for Kentucky football?
I'll take it.
That's
I'll take it.
Kind of
It
crazy.
gets us. Does this mean we can have shout, or are
Don't
we going
forget
to
about
yell
Joe
at
Von
for
Boo
copying
night
it?
there, Nick.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jovan Boo night. Somebody had a thread on the board. Shout out to KS Board. You people were awesome. Of just like, here's what happened to all of the good coaches early in the Stoops era, and then afterwards the rest of them stink. Shout out Jovan Boo night. He was on that a long list of just. Oh man, I'll miss watching us going 4 and out from the 1 yard line at least 3 times per season. That I get a lot of crap for the unhinged Tennessee rant. I was definitely more insane for that one where I'm just like taking 2 steps. Oh,
Yeah.
is it that hard? 1,
Auburn
2.
game.
I don't even remember what loss that was. There were so many of them last year.
Does Vince
Well,
come
Rich-
home?
Oh yeah, that was. There
No.
were some rumblings about that.
No.
No.
How funny was his little back and forth with Jeff Badette?
Oh man.
Actually, not funny, sad. It was guys, like,
Do you
big
believe Jeff
grown man.
Badette?
like
That's Nick's beef. I'm not involved here. That's Nick's
Hello,
beef.
Nick Roush.
well, my other thing too, Vince might have yelled at Jeff Badette like he yells at people all the time. Vince is not dogging some kid because that's like, it makes him look better if his players go pro. So like, he was a fringe draft guy forever. Like, I don't think he's going to go out. He's not the reason why Jeff Badette wasn't drafted.
Nick, do you remember Facebook pokes? You could
Yes.
poke people.
Yeah.
Anytime Louisville loses a game or Vince loses a recruit to someone, you should just tweet, "Hello, Vince Marrow."
I like the idea of bringing back Facebook pokes.
Oh
Just-
man.
I knew.
Is the $40 million in NIL for the roster next year true? You're just reading a lot into it. I highly doubt that because I don't think Texas had a $40 million roster this year. So highly doubt it.
And the
Highly
Brom
doubt
thing, it's still a work in progress, but I would assume Sataki is the coach there.
Elaborate on your October
Go ahead.
comment. Lucky and I both heard. I don't know if it was right after the Tennessee game or
This is
when
why you see
exactly.
on KS Board right here.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff we share on KS Board.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we did at the time. Like, hey, the job's open. Will Stein's interested in it, and then 6 weeks later, bada boom, bada bing, bada bam. Expectations for next year. Playoff?
We don't know the roster yet.
Yeah, and how quickly can he
Playoffs.
do anything right now? It's going to be an interesting portal season, I think, more than recruiting. But
For
you guys are
expectation,
the experts.
I would say just offensively.
Yeah.
Pete, do you have those numbers pulled that I sent? If you can throw those on the screen.
Even
To me, offensively, is can you get in this vicinity of these numbers he's about to pull?
Well, actually, Adam, where did you send that at? Where'd you send that?
I texted it in there. You'll see it's a photo. It's on my Twitter, too, if it's easier to pull up my Twitter.
Okay, I didn't see it in the text. I'll pull up on Twitter. All right, sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I mean,
Basically, he's had a top 25 offense every year.
yeah.
UTSA was top 25, but the Oregon offenses have all been top 10 to top 15. I think you can make the argument the offense he had with Bo Nix in 23 was one of the best, like top 12 in points per drive. Like this is the one I want people to look at. Points per drive. That essentially means how efficient are you scoring the football, which is what people care about the most. He's had a top 12 scoring offense every year as an offensive coordinator, 3 consecutive top 5s. So if he gets anywhere close to that, that means he's scoring points. That is going to win, I think, a lot of brownie points with the fan base, specifically early. I think people are, if he loses games 38-33, I think people are going to be better than losing 24-7, right? Or whatever. Or even if they lose, 45-31. They're going to score some points, and I think that's what gets people excited, and that's what you should see. You should see some early returns on that because that is his superpower is the offensive play calling, offensive production.
The other part too, you mentioned Bo Nix. When Bo Nix went to Auburn, he was damaged goods. Kind of similar with Dylan Gabriel too, where Oklahoma said, see ya. You can hit the road. Bo Nix just won his 9th game in a row in the NFL. Okay? Like, so clearly this guy knows how to take even damaged goods where there's been a lot of potential there. It hasn't worked out. And you know what? Right system in place, right players around him. Boom, it works. So the key is getting the right guys around him. Is that with Cutter Boley? I know a lot of people are curious. I mean, we can't say anything definitively right now. All right, Cutter had that interview today with Football Scoop where he essentially said, I got to keep my options open. And he does. Like, that's what he has to do. He has to get with the coach, make sure it's the right fit, make sure there's the right plan in place. I think it also applies to the coach, too. How much does Stein like Cutter Boley? Or is he already been talking to JKS and he's going to bring Songa Politelli or even some other guy that we don't know about, right? Like, it's very early. But it has been clear that he's been able to figure it out pretty damn good. It's just we don't know who that's going to be with.
Yeah, they've had a talent advantage, obviously, but like they've hit on quarterback. He's had a different starting quarterback every year. He's been a play caller. And he's still consistently producing numbers, both, at UTSA and Oregon. So I think that should travel.
Well, you know what I'm looking forward to, Bill Peak? I think if Kentucky is down 14 points, they might be able to overcome that deficit and come from behind and win with this offense.
Every once in a while would be nice. So you said the stat was 0-49? Is that what it was?
0-49. Yep.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Is with that's over 14 points, right?
Yes.
Okay. So because they've come back down 14 twice, South Carolina and Eastern Kentucky.
Correct.
Is that it? So it's just 2 times?
2 times in 13 years. 0 3,000-yard passers in 16 seasons. 15 or 16. It's 2010. So 0 3,000 yards passer since 2010. 2 years, without scoring more than 3 offensive touchdowns away from Kroger Field.
Yeah.
So we're not going to kick a field goal when we're down like 21 points is what you're telling me.
I think they're going to go for it.
Well,
All right,
I think
good.
he's had 2 4,000-yard passers in 4 years. In football.
We're just glad when we get 2,000 yards. And he's got 2 4,000-yard ones.
And he's had a couple 1,100-yard running backs. It's just they're offensively. You should be excited about the potential here.
Which makes sense when you go from a defense
Right.
coach. You zig and you zag. I'm going to say South Carolina next year. Oh gosh, if Will Stein can shove Shane Beamer into a locker,
Oh man.
that's a road game. That's 3 touchdowns. Como, Drinks Boys. Oh yeah, they're getting 3 offensive touchdowns there. Rocky Top. Whew, man, it's going to be
What a
Can we
fun.
tough
talk about
schedule.
how?
No.
All right, who here is older than Will Stein? So Will Stein's
In
36
about 2
years
months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 2 years
That's
older.
kinda
We're
weird.
all basically contemporaries, which is also
Yes.
weird.
That's going to
That's
be
so weird.
different. Like, I think it's cool. Like, bring it on, but it is going to be different. You know, I feel like for the longest time, it felt, and part of this is me getting older, that college football coaches were always just much, much older than me. And now, I mean, even Mark Pope, if you look on the basketball side, is older. He's in his 50s or whatever. And so, like, looking at someone and being like, oh my gosh, you're 5 years younger than me. That's good. It's going to be different. One more nice piece of synergy is somebody on the board, Notorious KY, brought up Stoops' introductory press conference was on December 2nd, 2012.
It's true.
So tomorrow's December 2nd. They're probably not
Wow.
going to have the introductory press conference, but that's kind of cool. And I get all of this happens around the same time of year because it's the end of the season, but it's kind of a cool thing to note.
It's not going to be as depressing as that one was either because, well, I mean, that was one of the first big things I got to attend. But they had it at the Old Nutter, which Old Nutter sucked. I mean, it was like an 80-yard field. And they put up like a big screen behind them and they had like inflatables, but it was just very weird to have it in that setting. I'm sure now it'll be in the Longship Lounge whenever that happens. And I'm sure they'll invite at least prominent boosters. I don't know if it'll be general public, everyone. But Lucky, you mentioned it earlier. It's nice to have a fresh start. You know, we had, as much as Mark Stoops wanted to wring my neck sometimes, like we had a good relationship with him. It'll be nice just to have some newness, some fresh sound that isn't, I don't want to make a headline. Like it's
right. The tropes get old.
Yeah.
The back to work stuff. You get what he's saying, but it's just like, how many times are we going to hear this? Just different messaging and just different everything, really. I think how they're going to play the games, how they're going to manage the games, probably how they're going to go about recruiting and what they're going to value. I think schematically, Nick, like Kentucky's played a certain way on defense that a lot of people are just kind of tired of playing that way.
Oh,
structurally.
I know a couple.
So
You
with
do
Stein,
too.
usually with these offensive first coaches, they want to play more of an aggressive style on defense because they're not afraid to get into track meets if they have to. So you could see a more kind of pressure heavy defense, I think. And I think a lot of people are going to be pleased until they give up 30 points in a game and then they're going to complain about it. But just all of that is kind of, things are just going to be different all the way around. It's not just from the head coach. I think it's just going to be just a different energy in all of that. And I think, with Stein, you get part of the reason I wanted Kentucky to really be active in the coordinator market as opposed to some of these other schools, because you get the ascending hungry aspect. And I think that's something this program needs because this job's hard.
Yeah,
that's not the
And
quote.
is hard.
you've got to have some like crazy confidence.
No, that's not the right quote. Like it.
You're on YouTube. You can say it.
This shit's hard.
I can't believe you missed that opportunity.
It was right in front of you.
It is. This shit is hard, right?
Are you guys concerned at him not being a head coach? I know Mark Stoops wasn't either, but a lot of people will say 36 years old, doesn't have head coaching experience. Does that matter as much in this new era? Like if you can get a GM,
it's a gamble you have to take. It's a there's stuff you have to manage as a head coach that is a little different, but you can get training in a Mountain West job, but it's still a lot different than doing it in the SEC. So there's on the job training regardless. I think with all of that, I think it helps Stein that he's been in big boy programs, right? With Texas and Oregon.
I'm more worried about our coach's motivation. Is Will Stein motivated? We're going to have to find out at the introductory press conference. But we also probably need to go write some more stuff about it. We could talk about this till we're blue in the face. The North Carolina Tar Heels play Kentucky tomorrow. Will we see Will Stein? Maybe. I'm sure we'll hop on here at some point, if not tomorrow, definitely on Wednesday night to talk about it all. But it's an exciting time. It's a new era for Kentucky football, an up-and-coming, ascending offensive wonderkin who has ties to the state. He's returning to his old Kentucky home. It's Stein time in the Bluegrass.